That's the risk.
That's it.
Like that's the risk you got to take. Like picking back off what Key just said, you have to take that risk when you're transitioning from a 9 to 5. Use your 9 to 5 to fuel the entrepreneurship, but when you're transitioning, you have to take that risk once the money start matching up. If you're making about the same amount of money that you're making at your 9 to 5 from the entrepreneurship, then go ahead and start switching and fuel more into it. But the key is, in between time, after your 9 to 5, you have to put a certain amount of hours into the entrepreneurship. If you don't, it's never going to build. It's just always going to be a want. Yes. So you have to put time. Prime example: when I first got my barber license, I started with 0 clients. Nobody knew I could cut hair. I was also a server, part-time, serving tables to get some extra change to survive.
Yeah.
But I kid you not, I never had to serve tables in the last 4 years. But in the midst of that, I was able to slowly pull days away from being in that restaurant serving as I kept pouring into cutting hair. The more I cut hair, the more I keep trying, the more I kept putting fuel into that. Now we up to cutting X amount of heads a week, to the point where now we can adjust the schedule. Now we can have a full entrepreneurship schedule and choose when you want to work in X, Y, and Z. But the key is the work never slowed down. You have to work twice as hard when you're trying to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You can't just like put the same amount of effort you would put as going to a 9 to 5. You have to put the outside hours, because a 9 to 5 has got to be in there to supply you and make sure you're surviving. Right. But it's about the time outside of that 9 to 5 is what help you lean more towards entrepreneurship. You have to put time outside of it. So just understanding that you have to put that work in outside. Yeah. It's not no one way to where I can just say I'm quitting today and now I'm a full-time entrepreneur. No, there's a transition that happens. Yeah. You have to do both at the same time for a little while.
Yeah.
Then you might can drop the 9 to 5. But you have to build that fuel up. You can't just you can't go cold turkey the next day and it don't work like that.
Yeah. I can tell you my journey was a little irresponsible. I worked in retail for years. I worked at Express, I worked at BCBG, I worked at White House Black Market, I worked at Aldo. I worked all of those jobs, and it wasn't even a matter of like, oh, I hate this. I actually loved working retail, like loved meeting new people, and I get to sell y'all, like yes, sign me up. But what made me leave, not to get like super deep, but I had a ex that was killed, and when I found out as I was going into work, and so of course I'm crying, but I'm trying to hold myself together because I just found out right before going into work. So I'm crying, and I go to the back and I'm trying to pull myself together. I come back out, I cry a little bit more, but I'm trying to like pull myself together because clearly I'm a crier. So I'm trying to pull myself together, and another manager that I was close friends with comes over and asks me if I was okay. And so again, we're close friends, so I told her because we're close friends, and she knew my ex. And so but then our store manager comes over as we're talking, and she was just like, you can't do all that crying in here. And so she's like, well, her ex-boyfriend was like shot and killed, and she just found out, so we just need to give her a moment. She's like, I don't care, you cannot do all of that on this floor. And it was just very like, I don't care about you, I don't care about what you're experiencing, you need to get out here and sell these clothes. And I just felt so disgusted in that moment, and I quit that day. And I literally told myself I was not going back to work for anybody else, because I'm sure most people have that same mindset. And and I felt like, okay, I need to, because the reality of it is, yes, that can still happen in this industry, but at the same time, I just felt like, do I enjoy selling clothes in retail? Yes, but is this my dream? No. So why am I going to go through all of this for something that's not even my dream? No, I'm not doing it. And so I decided to stop working. Some of that was just because after that situation, of course, I went into a very deep depression, and I couldn't work. And so once I came out of that, I came to visit Atlanta, and one of my friends, shout out to Princess Benuzzi behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said beyond. Sorry, girl. She said that she was coming to Charlotte to do something, and that's where my mom lives, and so that's where my stuff was. And I was like, "Can I stay with you?" And she was like when? I was like, can we go get my stuff and I'll just come down with you and then come back? And she was like, yeah, I don't care. So that's how that situation happened. I literally decided, like I said, irresponsible, don't listen to me. I decided to go down and get my stuff and stay with her. And then from there, I was just couch hopping with everybody. And then at one point, you know how even if you know that you have friends that will help you out, you kind of feel like, I've been staying here for a long time, so I don't even want to do that to you. And so I had moments where I stayed in my car. And yeah, I just, horrible. But yeah, I came to Atlanta, moved here, made connections, and started off as a makeup artist. So I got connected through Princess to another makeup artist, and I would day play for just different TV shows, and I worked a lot with TV One, and so yeah, I did that, and then felt like, okay, well, I love doing makeup, but I didn't come here just to do makeup. I came here to dance as well. Yeah. So once I started to get a little bit more money, I started taking more dance classes.